Today I'm featuring a 2-page scrapbook layout using the brand new special Gnomes for Autumn, which is available August 1st through September 30th. I'm using a collection of products. I already have everything prepped, the papers, the mat, some irresistibles, along with my chipboard, thin cut pieces. I do consider doing some stitching, but I decide against that later on in the video. I'm using the stitched alphabet stamp set along with the Colorista colored pencils and some ink pads and adhesive and a T ruler. Also this cute Gnomes cut. So let's get started. I'll be stamping the thin cuts using the Gnomes for Autumn scrapbooking Stampin' Thin Cuts collection. I've already prepared all my thin cuts, so I'm just going to show you about the stamps. These are polymer stamps and they're clear. We have clear blocks. I always season my stamps before I use them for the very first time. And as you can see, you can just line them up and stamp right down onto your thin cuts. This is our stamp chamois and it's wet, so I can clean my stamps and then put them right back on the carrier sheet. So I'm just lining up my stamp here with the thin cut, so that's a little trick just to lay it over top of it. And next I will be creating part of my title using the stitched alphabet. I'm only using the solid images to stamp out the word day. Once I have those stamped, I will fussy cut them out using my scissors. So super simple, they're easy to cut out, and you can just see me get that started here. I cut the words individually and then fussy cut each one out. Next, I'll be using the new Colorista colored pencils. They're not available quite yet. They will be coming September 1st when our new idea book core catalog becomes available. So I'm selecting some colors here that I think will work well with the collection. An orange, a yellow, and a green, and I'm just going to start coloring these in. They blend beautifully, so I just do a light pumpkin color here at first, and then I'll go over you'll see me at the top, a little bit darker shading at the top and the bottom of the pumpkins, so they turn out beautiful. And then I go ahead and grab the other two collections. One is the Vivid ones that I used prior, and then there's two other color sets as well. So I'm just using those so that I can get all the colors that I need to color in all these images. So you'll see that I've finished all of those and they've turned out beautifully. So now I am using our Irresistibles alphabet product. I have cut out the letters for the word girls, because my title's going to be Girls Day Out, or just Girls Day. And I'm using my pumpkin ink along with my blending brush. You can see that the Irresistibles, this particular one has a little bit of some dots on it, so that's what resists the ink. So it turns out really cute. And then I used the stitched alphabet. I needed it again to get the apostrophe for the word girls. So I just fussy cut that out, and then we'll set that aside so that I could start to assemble the pages. So this is going to be our brand new Close to My Heart adhesive. I actually won some of it during our annual convention last month and received it in the mail just a few days ago. So I am deciding which papers I need to put down first. I'm going to put down this green plaid paper first, right in the center of the page, and then I will adhere the other two 3x12 pieces about a 1/16 of an inch from the bottom and the top of that piece. And onto the second page, the right hand side, the pattern just extends over to that side and it leaves open a place for some more photos and journaling. I thought I would do some stitching on these pages, and then I decided no, that just was too time consuming. So I'm going to be using my T-square ruler along with my Sepia LePen, and I'm just going to use that T-square ruler to draw some stitch lines on the top and the bottom of each one of those 3 by 12 pieces and onto the other page as well. So now I have my photos. This was a fun girls' day out with my daughter, Bevan. She was 14 at the time, had just turned 14. And we like to go and do something, spend the day together on a day somewhere around her birthday. So that's what I'm documenting, is a day in San Antonio where we went to Hobby Lobby. So here I am just taking those photos that I chose in the Hobby Lobby. It just happened to be autumn, or they had their autumn seasonal things out, even though it was August and hotter than you know what here in the Texas Hill Country. But this worked really well with these new autumn papers, so I thought it would be a fun way to document it. So I'm just layering the photos down with the mats with some foam tape for the focal point photo of Bevan and I here. And then this particular photo actually kind of lays off the side of the right page, and I will go back and I'll trim that off and adhere that little piece that I cut off over onto the other page, so it kind of looks like it flows really well. So when it's in your album, it'll look really neat. And I'm also adding the 3 by 5 photos here with no mats, and then there'll be some journaling there in that empty square. So here's where I trim off that excess of the photo mat, and I'm just going to make sure that I have plenty of adhesive on it and that little bit of the photo stays put where it's supposed to. And then you'll just see me put the pages together so I can line it up really well and adhere that remaining piece. So that's a cool little fun technique to just help with the flow of the page. So I've got my irresistibles that I'm going to use for my title. I'm using some foam tape to raise those up. So I'll just be lining that up right there, and then the word day that I fussy cut out, I'll adhere that right there below. And don't forget that apostrophe for the girls. I did get that in there at some point. So now I'm deciding I really do want to use this new Gnomes for autumn thin cuts. Look how adorable that is. So I have to take a few minutes, show you the different pieces. It's really just paper piecing that you cut out with your die cutting machine. So it is true to size, as you can see, I'm showing you there. And then I'm just kind of positioning it around the page to see where it'll fit. At first, I really wanted it over on that far left-hand corner by the word girls and didn't think it would fit, but I do end up figuring out a way to make it fit. So I have to go and cut all my pieces, and I'll show you how to assemble that here in just a minute. So here are all the pieces cut out, and I'll flip over my Versa mat so that I have some cushion there and I'm not working directly on my project. And as soon as I get all the pieces over here ready to go, I had cut the base in white daisy and then realized I needed it in a flesh tone color for the face because that was the only piece that I didn't cut out. So I end up cutting it out of peach using the light side of the peach cardstock. So that worked perfectly. And I just, like I said, it's just paper piecing, super simple. So I'm going to kind of move through the process real quick. And like magic, it'll all be done for you. So here we have the finished piece, and I can turn my Versa mat back over. I'm gonna end up having to pull up that G a little bit. Takes me a few minutes, so I can tuck it up under the word G. or the letter G, and I think it turned out really great like that. I did add some foam tape so that it would be raised as the word girls is, and position it in there. And then I have one sticker that I used from the sticker sheet, a little tab that I put up there at the top of that little fox. And now I'm just going to be working with my colored thin cuts and figuring out what the best layout will be. I felt like it was too heavy over there under that sunflower, and then I did cut 3 of each of the pumpkin and the sunflower. I think of all the pieces actually, because I wanted all of them in each one of the 3 clusters. So I'm just moving those around so that I know where I want them, what clusters I want them to be in. And then I'll be doing a little bit more maneuvering around to get the best look. So that's what I'm doing right here. I end up deciding to move that pumpkin over to the other side of the gnome girl, and I'm going to tuck it underneath her a little bit and then hide that sunflower just a tiny bit. And then I can figure out, I have these mushrooms that I'm going to add some 3D foam tape to and adhere over there to the left side of her. And then I have the remaining stamped colored in images, and I just want to tuck them around in different places to kind of create, I kind of have an L shape going here, I guess, around the title. So this cluster is incorporated right into the title and just really makes everything pop. So here I think I figure out exactly how to get all that to where I want it. And I just have to remove the adhesive backing from the cork shapes. That's a little tricky. You can also just put some adhesive on the back and it'll work just great. So finishing up that cluster in the title, and then I believe I move on up to that cluster that's above the cute little fox that was hiding in that autumn tree that I took a picture of. So fun and so pretty. I'm actually recording this video in August as well, so this was 2 years ago, and it's been so hot here. I'm so looking forward to cooler weather, to autumn, which will probably be short and brief, unfortunately. So I'm playing around with this last cluster, and I decide I'm going to allow that sunflower to come off the page a little bit, and then I'll trim it off toward the end of the video. So I'm just finishing up that cluster, making sure that I have some images that are raised with the 3D foam tape. And then I did have a little smudge on my vellum sticker sheet that I did my journaling on. And so I end up using one of those little foam or the cork pieces, the leaves, to cover that up. You'll see me put that up at the top right hand corner of that journaling, and that's why I kind of put it up there a little bit further away from the cluster, because I had a little smudge mark from my fingers when I put down the journaling. So that's it right there. So you can always try to figure out a way to cover up your little boo-boos. So here I am just figuring out where I'm going to put those last embellishments. I grabbed some sparkles. I always like to have a little bit of extra bling on my page, so I end up only doing 2 sparkles into each of the clusters. I just figured that usually I'll do 3, but this time I just thought it looked nice with just 2, pretty much in opposite corners of each cluster. So there you pretty much have it. I did remember that I needed to cut off that sunflower, and so that's what I do, and it's done now. So I'm super excited with how this page turned out. I would love it if you would like and comment and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for joining me today.